True, but I'd rather buy food for somebody suffering from starvation, serious starvation, than someone just hungry for a snack. Anyways, Masato, since you already ate your food, you have to give Cut a hand.
そりゃいいけどよ。俺にできることなんてあんのかよ。
That's for her to decide. Oh, hey, Cut, you brought your bag, right?
はい、持ってきてます。
俺か？どう言ったら伝わるかな。バカと思わないでほしいが、実は全て苦手だ。だが正確には苦手なわけではない。むしろ全教科得意だ。ただ勉強しないだけだ。
Idiot discovered.
なんだよリキ、そのバカ発見しました的な目は。
Putting that aside, we need to study for the test.
本
Now.
当にやるのかよ。俺が勉強したらすげえ点数取っちまうぜ。
I don't exactly see the problem.
まあ、リキがやりたいって言うなら付き合うけどよ。ところで、なんかチップス感覚でつまむもの欲しいな。リキ、なんか頼んでいいか？
Go ahead.
おばちゃん、カツ単品で。
He actually considers pork cutlet similar to potato chips.
なんか私もお腹空いてきました。
The smell of cooking oil was rousing my appetite as well.
軽く食べてからにしましょうか。リキ、腹が減っては戦はできぬです。
Fair enough. I think I'll get a sandwich or something.
そうしましょうなのです。学食のチーズバーガーセットは美味しいです。おすすめですよ。和風ピクルスが挟まっているのです。ふふ。
Was that some kind of joke? I'll go order drinks as well. In the meantime, why don't you check what areas the test covers?
わかりました。
それでな、俺は思うわけだ。ハンバーガーの中のピクルスをいかにうまく抜き出せるかという技術について。
確かにそれは至難の技です。
そうだろう、そうだろう。これこそ匠の技ってやつだよな。
匠、すごいです。
包み紙にケチャップが落ちないようにするのは難しいんだぜ。ちょっと見てみな。
ドキドキ。
とりゃ！
おー、すごいです。井ノ原匠さん。
俺はマサトだけどな。
What? Hey, why don't you guys get back to studying now? Ken and I ended up achieving almost nothing except listening to Masato's theory on how to cleverly avoid eating stuff he disliked.
では、あとは女子寮で皆さんと勉強会をすることにします。今日はありがとうございました。
It's too early to be thanking me, Cud. There's still a few days left until the exam.
そうでした。
We didn't get much done today because of Masato. I guess I'd be better that you. I'd better help you during lunchtime too.
いいんですか、リキ？
Yeah, I promised you. I promised you I'd give you a hand. Besides, I thought I should buckle down at least with the exams right before me. And after all, studying was what students were supposed to do.
そうですか。
Supposed to, yes.
あ、ではお昼休み付き合っていただいたお礼にお弁当を提供します。
No, you don't have to do that.
いえ、そういうわけにもいきません。お礼はきちんとしなければ。あまり舌を満足させるものはできないかもしれませんけど。でも自信があるメニューもあります。
Okay, if you insist. But make sure you don't put too much time or effort into cooking, alright? If she got too serious about it and forgot to study, that would be a big problem.
それは大丈夫です。はい。
Great, I'll look forward to it, Cud. And then we parted ways. I helped Cud build her vocabulary during lunch break.
一回り終わりましたか？
Yeah, good job, Cud.
お 昼休みまで付き合っていただいてすみません。
Don't sweat it. It was just 15 minutes.
ありがとうございます。
She clapped her hands once.
それではご飯にしましょう。
Sure. I stretched my back.
全部レポートだといいんですけど、アフターマートになってほしいです。
I think if it were reports, the grading would be even harsher.
そうかもです。
I'd much rather papers than tests. We both dropped our shoulders in
やっ
disappointment.
ぱりお腹空いてる時はですね、マイナスネガティブシンキングカムトゥルーなわけですよ。
She tried to lift my spirits. There's a bunch of grammatical errors I'd like to point out in what you just
と
said.
いうわけでお弁当なのです。
She produced 4 water flasks out of her bag and placed them on the desk. Flasks?
はい、水筒です。魔法瓶ですよ。
Yeah, I can see that. Because of the surface on each flask, there was a sticker bearing the maker's mascot animal character crying meow. Those 4 flasks with their meowing stickers made quite the fancy sign.
リンさんも同じ水筒持ってましたね。そういえば。
Not surprising at all.
どうぞ、リッキー。
She handed me a paper cup. Cud, can I ask you something?
はい、どうぞ。
What, we're about to have lunch, right?
はい、お弁当です。
But this is a paper cup.
ファイバーです。
Thanks, but I can already tell that.
そうですか？そんなこと私言いましたか？とってもファイバーですよ。
I'm not a goat. I can't eat and digest paper.
ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。
You must have picked that up from someone, Cud. I smiled
そう
bitterly.
かもしれませんね。周りの皆さんのおかげです。
I'm not sure if it's necessarily such a great thing.
喜んでいいことだと思いますよ。
Do you... Anyway, I'd like to explain what all these are for.
そうですね。
She clasped one of the flasks. Then she started to pour the contents into my cup. The light scent of soap wafted into the air. Cut inside the bottle is
もう
that.
分かっちゃいましたか？
She opened another flask whose lips was a tad wider than the previous ones. I heard the clacking together of ice cubes within.
リキ、少し持っててくださいね。
Alright, now I get what we're going to eat.
そういうことです。
What slid down the bottleneck were white noodles. I see, there sure is an elaborate lunch. Hey, wait. God, what the... I feel at a loss of words. They were undoubtedly noodles, but they were much flatter than I was used to. What is that? I thought it was somen or udon, but it looks like something entirely
き
different.
しめんです。
Oh yes. Kishimen? Oh right. One right after another, flat noodles slid out of the bottle.
男の子さんだと食べがいがあるきしめんが良さそうでした。
Thank you very much. That's so considerate of you. I bowed my head toward her,
どういたしまして。
and so did she in return. In the next moment, something banged. Seemed like her arm had pushed something down as we had exchanged bows, and it happened to be one of the bottles. Accordingly, the desk was now littered with ice and flat noodles.
ごめんなさい。
It's fine, just hold still there,
リキ、
Cud.
そっち麺が落ちそうです。押さえてください。
Over here? I extended my left hand to hold the flow. The accompanying ice was cold. No shit!
これで大丈夫です。
Ice is cold. On the opposite side, she was also blocking the noodles with her left
じゃ
hand.
あ食べましょう。
Are you serious? We ended up having to eat our noodles in those weird positions, all the while drawing curious looks from the other classmates.
ではでは、ここに記入を。
I don't like filling out random forms. Between classes, I saw the girls passing around some kind of note. What's going on? Kamari happened to pass by them.
あ、上北さん。
なに？こまりちゃん。みーちゃん。先生のお手伝い終わった？終わった。クド も手伝ってくれたから。コロ？
Kadu had stopped a few steps behind her for some reason and had a curious expression.
じゃあね上北さん。
行っちゃった。ご飯食べに行こうか、くーちゃん。りんちゃんも行こう。
Ren nodded and left with Kadu and Kumari. What was that about? Kumari being called out by one of the girls in class was now an everyday occurrence, but the scene bothered me a little. Just high school girls being high school girls.
Ricky.
It was after school now. Cud came over to my desk. She was already wearing her cloak and hat. She had her bag in her hand. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere, Cud.
すみません。
So where should we go today?
少し場所を変えましょう。
Oh yeah, it's fine by me. She seemed in a dejected mood. I wondered whether something had happened.
いつかの家庭科部室は覚えてますか、リキ？
Yeah, I do. You want to go there?
実はお掃除とかも少しずつやっていたのです。だいぶ片付いたんですよ。どうでしょうか？静かで勉強しやすいと思うです。
If that's what you wish, I have no objections.
では行きましょう。
She began walking with a lively stride. Wow, it's really neat in here. Turning the lights on, I looked around the inside of the room and was surprised to find out how much it had changed. There was a round table, which I had seen on the previous visits. The tatamis looked aged, but they weren't dirty at all. She must have hung them out to dry and dusted them.
先にお茶入れてきますね。リキ、何が良いですか？
What do you have here?
緑茶と紅茶がいくつか。それともコーヒーがいいですか？
I'm not really in the mood for coffee now. I'd rather have green tea.
はい、わかりました。じゃあ、ちょっとお待ちください。
She disappeared into the bag. Wooden pillars in an alcove. In an antique vase, there was an assortment of flowers I didn't recognize. Maybe she arranged them. The flowers didn't appear carefully arranged to my untrained eye, but I suppose they might have been done following some school or flower arrangement. I found a pile of cushions in the corner of the room, and picked up and placed 2 of them around the table.
お待たせしました。
She came back carrying a tray with a teapot and 2 cups.
クッションどうもです。
She set the tray on the table and started pouring the tea. The fragrance of green tea spread throughout the room. Thanks, God.
いえいえ、そちゃですが。
She then filled her own cup. She was cooling off the tea by blowing on it and holding the cup with both hands. Are you sensitive to heat?
いえ、そういうわけではないのですが。マグカップとか持つとついこうしちゃうのです。
Okay. Yeah, I think I know the feeling. The room is relatively neat now, by the way. It must have been hard work.
いえ、そういうわけでもないです。本格的にしたわけではないですし。寮長さんにも手伝ってもらいました。相変わらず部員は私と寮長さんだけですけどね。
What does your club do? Nothing in particular?
特には寮長さん曰くですけど、学食のメニューがすごくまずい時期があって。
Some of them are still that way even now. Maybe they were relics from back then.
それを改善するために活動していたとか言ってましたが、 私もそういうことをしていればいいのかなと思って活動してます。
Frankly, in speaking, the school isn't too supportive of club activities, is it?
でもガスコンロもしっかりあるので嬉しいです。女子寮にも簡易調理室はあるんですが、電気式なので、電気式だとどうも調子が狂います。料理は毎日作らないと腕が落ちてしまいますからね。
Yeah. That must have been why she decided to join the club. Well, I shouldn't say every day, but you should cook.
お腹空いてますか？でしたら何か作りましょうか？
No, not yet. I think we should start studying now.
Yes, sir!
We sat down at the table facing each other. That small table, round table looked pretty old. I felt certain that it had seen use ever since the room was still used by the dorm administrator.
ルーズリーフはありますか？
No, I'm fine. Thanks for the offer. We spread out our textbooks and loose leaf binders on the table. God, is that your new cell? I noticed a brand new mobile phone beside her
リ
notebook.
キが勧めてくれたものにしました。
It was very thin and had well-defined round buttons.
薄くて軽くてぺったんこです。ぺったんこです。
She cocked her head to the side.
ぺったんこです。
God.
いえ、なんでもありませんです。リキ。
Okay. Something seemed to have triggered a deep-rooted trauma. Did your number
はい、
change?
変わりました。アドレスも変わっちゃいました。
Can you give me those?
ラジャーなのです。
I entered her new number and email address into my address book. Alright, I'm done. I put my cell down on the table. At that moment, the wrist of my jacket hit my rubber eraser and it rolled down under the table. Ah, blast. I peered under the table
ど
for
う
the
かしまし
eraser.
たか、リキ。
Oh, good. I wonder where this is gonna go. Just dropped my eraser. Oh, there it is. Just when I tried to reach for it, I saw what was in front of me. Ouch. I hit my head on the table.
リキ、大丈夫ですか？
I wish I was. Yeah, I'm fine. I strained my back. Ow.
頭、たんこぶできたですか？
No, I don't think so.
顔が赤いです。すごい音がしました。痛いなら保健室とか。
As I answered, cut, I recalled what I had seen under the table and blushed. Fine, I'm completely fine.
本当ですか？すごく赤いです。脳震盪とか起こしてないですか？How about you, the condition?
I'm okay, you don't have to be worried.
そうですか？ならいいですけど。
Cut, who had been leaning forward on the table, sat back down with a mystified look. She then cast her eyes down on her notes and started turning the pages.
昨日はここまでだったから、今日はここからです。
It was really a quick glance, but I did definitely spot the white. Wait, what the heck am I picturing? I mentally beat myself up for peeping into the confines of her skirt, even though it was obviously an accident. I should forget that and focus on the task at hand. Kud, do you have any questions? If so, don't hesitate to ask. I offered her help opening my textbook and reference book. Kud was groaning with her mechanical pencil pressed between her lips. She was even shaking her head from side to side without dropping the writing tool. She's doing that so well. I remember seeing something similar on TV before. She looked just like the dog I'd seen that was at a loss for how to deal with the complicated task.
いろいろわかりません。
Okay. Then I think we should get started with what seems the most important. That was how our study session began. The recent economic indicators in the northern countries of the EU. We were reading a textbook on social sciences. Social sciences? Sciences. I usually left the heavy book in our dorm room. However, I brought it today for a geography class, so we were reviewing what we had learned in that class from the book. I know memorizing the basics is essentials, but there's just so much.
そうですね。
She underlined a sentence in her textbook and lifted her face to see me. Speaking of geography, what countries have you been to so far? I asked, opening my atlas. To be honest, I was getting a little lightheaded, so I thought some small talk would help
そうで
refocus
す
me.
ね。フランス、イギリス、イタリア、ベルギー、ルーマニア、オランダ、ドイツ。
Ah. She pointed at the map each time she spoke the name of the
ちょっ
country.
と飛んでアメリカ、カナダ、イベリア半島には行ったことはないです。インドとスリランカ、これは茶園を見に行っただけでした。イスラエルもですか。南アメリカはブラジルぐらいでしょうか。それからデンマーク、ノルウェー、スウェーデン。半年とか数年とかいた期間はバラバラですけど。
You went to these countries with your grandfather for his business, didn't you?
はい、そうです。私の両親が仕事で忙しかったので、私はおじいさまに預けられたのです。おじいさまにとってみれば責任感もあったのではないかと。
Your grandfather is running a trading company, right?
はい、そうです。グラフコスモスの古いお友達と仕事してるらしいです。
Cosmos, is that the name of a trading company?
そうそう、おじいさまの生まれたのはここですね。
I appeared at where her finger was pointing. It was on the Baltic coast. Near the Baltic states?
はい、おじいさまの出身地はバルト三国とロシアに挟まれたとこらしいです。
Oh, that doesn't sound like a god-awful place to be about right now.
おじいさまは幼い頃すぐ中央アジアに行ったらしいんですけど、詳しいことは知りません。強制移住とかいろいろ大変だったみたいです。あまりその話をするのおじいさまは好きじゃないようで、南洋諸島開発してた若い頃のことは話してくれるんですけどね。
And what country did you say that stayed the
一番
longest?
長かった国ですか？多分テブアでしょうか。長いと言っても通算期間が長いという意味ですけど、あちらこちらから行ったり来たりでしたし。
Where's that country located? I'd never heard of it.
南の方です。ちっちゃな島国なんですけど。
She flipped the map. Is it like Tuvalu or Kiribati?
そうですね。そんな感じです。で
God,
も
those
大抵の
names.
地図には載ってないんですよね。
She was right. It wasn't on the map. I wonder if I'd be able to find it if I located it in books at the library or searched
私
online.
はいわゆるデュアルナショナリティなのです。ちなみにおじいさまはテブア国籍も持ってるルーシュキーとなりますね。
When she realized I didn't understand what she just said, she began to
ルーシュ
explain.
キーはロシア人という意味です。
No shit.
と、おじいさまは言ってました。国籍取得には血統主義と聖地主義がありまして、テブアは聖地主義、日本やロシアは父母両系血統主義です。
Jus soli gives citizenship to all children born in that country. And the other one gives citizenship to children based on their parents' nationality. I see, so what's your
テブ
nationality?
アで生まれた私はテブア国籍と親に由来する日本国籍を持っているというわけですね。
Man, so glad I don't have any of
ロ
that.
シア国籍は持っていないようです。連邦崩壊とそれに伴う独立の混乱もあったでしょうが、 おじいさまの方針で手続きをしなかったとかなんとか。ロシアへ行ったことないんですよ。だからロシアは遠くて私の知らない国なのですよ。ロシア語は片言で話せるだけです。それ以外はつながりがありません。
Judging by her name and appearance, I have guessed that she came from some northern country. But that turned out to be a misconception. Could it be your cloak?
ほい
You wear it because you're sensitive to cold.
そうかもしれません。テブアに比べたら日本は寒いです。日本より寒い国もいっぱい知ってますけどね。そういう場所ではマントは4枚、その上からコートを着て毛皮の帽子とイヤーマフラーです。
That must have been heavy.
ちょっとヨロヨロしてました。
Returning to our previous topic, your family seems very complicated.
そうかもしれません。大抵国籍を2つ持ってますし、おばあ様が一番シンプルかもしれません。
Oh, your grandmother is Japanese, right? Nationality withstanding, it would seem that Kaido was a quarter Russian by blood.
私の話ばかりしてしまいました。勉強に戻りましょう。
Sure, sorry I distracted us. Look, I've got some notes from Kyosuke about what he thought it would be on the test. So let's focus on the bits and list in the notes.
はい、さーです。
We ended our short break and turned our eyes back down on the textbooks.